Hello, everyone, and welcome to Journeys with Moriah. My name is Olufolake Ayeyemi, and I'm the coordinator of Moriah Family Support Group, where we confidentially support parent carers of children and young people aged 0 to 25 with special educational needs and disabilities. Journeys with Moriah is a forum where parents, carers, professionals, or family members share their personal experiences with special educational needs and disabilities. We believe in the power of a story and that sharing your special needs journey experiences will not only encourage, but also empower others who are going through similar challenges. Today, we have a very special guest with us. But before I let her introduce her lovely self to us, I would like you to please share this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and also follow us on all our social media platforms. Without further ado, welcome our special guest. Could you please introduce yourself to us?
Good morning. It's afternoon now. Good afternoon, Folake. Thank you for all that you're doing for families, for giving voice back to those who have been silenced by their situation. So thank you for making it okay to come and just say your story. At the end of the day, it is your story. You either own it or not. Whether you own it, whether you don't own it, it's your story.
It is.
So thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Adesola Toye Adeshokan, and what can I say? I'm a human being, a sister, a daughter, a wife, a friend, and the most important job of all, a mother to two amazing children. So that's me in a nutshell.
Thank you very much for introducing yourself to us, Adesola, and I'm so pleased that you agreed to come on the show. I know a little bit about your story, and I think a lot of people will learn, be encouraged, and be empowered. So I can't wait for you to share your story with our audience today. So thank you so much for sparing this time to be with us today. So I'll go straight in and I'll ask about, your special needs journey. I know you have, you just mentioned to us that you have children, and I know you have lived experience of special needs. If you can please share with us how that journey has been for you so far.
Okay. Just like everyone, when you're going to have your children, you're excited, you want your perfect children, you want the child to be perfect. As a Christian, you spend months confessing over their life when they're in your womb and all that. And then you have this amazing child, and to you, they are just perfect. And then things begin to show you that all may not be well in paradise.
Mm-hmm.
And that was how it was for me. I have two children. One is a girl, the other one is a boy. For me, I just noticed my daughter was active, but I didn't take any note of it. It was, she's active and all that. But for my son, the interesting thing was he started to speak early, and then all of a sudden, something strange started to happen. He started to lose his words. And this was a boy who was very lively because he had a sister. It was just almost like he was withdrawing to a world I couldn't understand. And no matter what I did or didn't do, nothing was changing. I was trying to be more active with him, reading more story, be more involve him as much as possible in the things that were happening in the house. But it was like he had lost interest in all those things, and he just wanted to be on his own. And then that was how our journey started. I took him to the GP, and then there were referrals and more referrals. In fact, before we ended our journey to the specialist, he had become totally mute. And it's not only that he wasn't talking, he was not even responding. It was like his body was with us, but his soul was somewhere else. And I mean, for people who have experienced it, it's really frightening. It's really a confusing time. And on top of that, when we were having all this visits and all that, the old visitor came and observed my daughter and said, we need to have her checked too. And you know, as a mother, that's the last thing you want.
No.
Well, that was how the new beginning started, because it's amazing how one's life can just be transformed by just a word. And when my daughter was 4 and my son was 3, in a nutshell, it was said, yeah, you know, we've got it. And guess what it is? It's autism. And it's heart-wrenching, heartbreaking, confusing, self-blaming, self-shaming, wondering what you've done wrong as a Christian. Didn't I pray enough? You know, what did I do? What was in my past? You search your soul, you bring the brightest light into your life to search everywhere. Just say, okay, it must be here, it must be there. And, well, I guess at some point you just come to terms with the poem that says, welcome to Holland. Yeah, you wanted to go to Italy. You are in Holland, and you just have to learn to thrive in it. So that's it, in a nutshell.
Wow, honestly, I mean, I can relate with you on every level with that story. And it's also how, you know, you search yourself and you're thinking, what did I do wrong? You know, where did I go wrong? What did I not do? And I'm sure a lot of other parents can also relate with that question, because we always blame ourselves straight away. Like, that was what happened to me. I thought I failed this child. I failed as a mother, you know. But yeah, like you said, we have to learn to thrive through this condition that our children have. Thank you very much for sharing that. So I want to ask you now about so obviously, you know, when you started your story, you were saying about how we all expect, you know, when you're pregnant, you look forward to this child, the picture of that child that you have in your mind. This is how my child will be at age 4. You will do this and that, age 6. And alas, you know, it all happens that no, the story comes out to be entirely different. Can you please share with us how the journey of your children's needs has affected your family life, your own personal life, and things in general around you?
Okay. Well, I believe when a child is born, that's when a mother is born, because nobody calls you a mother until you have a child. So that itself, it's change. But when you now have a child who is different to you on all levels, then the change is a lot. I trained as a solicitor, so I'm qualified to practice law in Nigeria. I'm qualified as a solicitor in the United Kingdom. And my dream was to practice law, you know. And then when this started, everything just changed. Because let me give you a practical example. When my daughter started reception in a mainstream school, she just wouldn't settle. So I practically had to go to school with her every day. And when I'm not able to go, her dad has to go. You can imagine, I mean, I know it's only those that know it that feel it.
Yeah.
So that for me was a change. It was a total detour of what I'd planned for my life, you know. And the fact that you are seeing specialists also means that, because you realize along the way that they might be professional according to training. But you know what? You are the one who has the child.
Yeah.
And you are the one who understands them beyond words. And if you are going to sit as equal on the table, you understand quickly that you also have to do your own research and you become an expert. And that means that whatever it is that you were planning to be studying becomes secondary to what you have to study.
Yeah.
So you do research, you're researching, you're hearing about therapy and all that, and that becomes your new normal.
Yeah.
You don't expect that to be, parenting, you read parenting book, but it's a field where it's like, imagine being on earth and then you are sent to the Mars to live. It's a brand new experience, and to survive there, you have to learn their way of life.
Yeah.
And that for me was what happened. I had to put aside all the dreams and aspiration and just care for my kids, because unfortunately, I'm sure you can relate to it. For some people, once they hear a child has been diagnosed with autism and many other special needs, they just lower their expectation. Like this.
Yeah.
And then, as a Nigerian, we have to face the fact that for us, our children are the best. Everybody should be they should be number one in everything. And then culture clash starts to start.
Yeah.
You know, they tell you this, and then you go like, yeah, you might be saying that, but it's not my portion. And then, as a logical person, like I said, I studied law. We're like, okay, if it's not your portion, what are you doing to make it not your portion? What are the practical steps you are going to start to take?
Yeah.
And then what that meant for me practically was that they were going to school, but then they were homeschooled.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm going to push as much as I can for this one to live their life to the maximum, to know that I couldn't have given more.
Yeah.
You know, and that itself is a challenge. You are learning their learning style. You also have to observe how they learn and then give them materials that will help them in line with how their own natural disposition. Because for me, I had to come to a terms with what does this diagnosis, what does it mean in real time? Does it mean that it's a closed door to greatness? A great door is a closed door to achievement? Or does it mean I have to take an alternative door? And if there's an alternative door to achieving what neurotypical we achieve in a particular way, what are the steps I have to take to go to that place? And for me, it was constantly reading, constantly talking to them, constantly researching. I also had to find out, because both of mine are different. So I had to find out from my friends that had neurotypical children what they were learning.
Yeah.
And even if some of those things, opportunities were not necessarily presented to them at school, I had to come home and present it to them.
Yeah.
And just keep pushing. And so that means that my life became all about maximizing now, because I just felt like early intervention makes all the difference.
Absolutely.
So it became, how can I maximize today? so that these children will live an independent life, not institutionalized life. So that became, I mean, can I even say you can finish that work? Finish that work. So I just had to put my own life, my own dream, the back burner, and just push as much as possible. You know, so that's some of the things that happen. And along the line, I must say, you know, I actually worked as an independent supporter, so I had the opportunity of supporting other parents and going through their own journey. And so I'll say, for me, it became not only my personal life and also my professional lives, because I also worked in school for a number of years, and just having the opportunity to bring what I've learned to the table and hopefully help encourage parents and shaping the children that came across my paths along the way.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for that. I mean, the impact, like how your life changes, it's difficult to explain it. Like, you just like somebody pressed on the brakes all of a sudden on your life, and you just stop and change direction. And it's so, you know, it's really it can be a challenge, especially when you know, I mean, we all have, and also from the kind of background that we're from, educationally, you just want to keep going in your career, you want to keep going, and then you have to just put all of that on hold, you know, to just take on this new assignment that God has put in your hands, you know, for reasons best known to him. So my question is now going to be, so because what I've realized is, you know, like you were saying earlier, you put your life on hold, your career on hold. This is a struggle for a lot of parents. And it's not just about the career, and also it's about parents being involved with their children's schools, with the professionals, being on top of their game in terms of information, finding out things, you know, like you were saying, you have to do your own research. You have to find out your child's learning style. And I mean, for you that have two children with different learning styles, that means you are doing double and all of that. I think that's a struggle for a lot of people. What were like the first steps that you took, you know, after the initial thing of, okay, this is my life now, let me make the most of it? What was the first thing? What would be the advice you would give to somebody who is taking that first step on that journey now?
I'll say the first thing is allow yourself to grieve. Don't live in denial. Allow yourself to grieve. It's a sense of loss.
Yeah.
Even though, of course, the gain comes later as you begin to appreciate what, like I said, welcome to Ola and the poem. You just begin to say, oh, there are good things there. So allow yourself to grieve. And then look at it and go like, okay, this is my new normal. Form your own village. They say it takes one person to have a child. It takes a whole village to raise the child. And your village might not necessarily be those people who are doing in your life.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are people who will judge you. And they will judge you hard. They will accuse you of having PPS, which is poor parenting skill.
Absolutely.
So you have to be ready for that. You have to be ready that a lot of people are ignorant and they will talk like professionals. So be emotionally ready to accommodate them, because if not, you'll just be angry all the time. You'll be angry all the time. And then look at it practically. This is your own precious possession. how do I help this child? If you are being offered help, don't do wait and see. Take the help. I mean, when like my daughter first, then my son had to go to a resource center. And the thing was like, why will I allow my child to go to the resource center? And for me, they had all this specialism, they had all the equipment, they had all the, the environment was just right.
Yeah.
And I told someone, I said, even if I decide to pay the ostrich and decide, oh, nothing is wrong, I'm not going to take it, other people can see. So ultimately, I have to decide what is best for my own child.
Yeah.
They are making choices for their own children. I will not, because of what people will say, not make choices for my own child.
Yeah.
So I think we have to come to terms with it. Our journeys are different. It doesn't mean that it's like Gandhi Temple, who is one of the most known autistic persons, said, he said, autism is a different, not a less.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so it means you have to take the time to learn about your own child. And so that was, for me, what was most important was, like I said, time. Okay, at this time, what can I do? She went to that resource center and it really, really helped her. And like I said, they come back from school. I was involved. I was reading to them. I still had. And then another thing that I think is most important is to sit yourself down. And now in this audience of one, say, what do I believe? It's easy to be speaking Christianese because that's the way we were raised. But what do I believe? Because how we believe, we determine how we raise these children, what we'll say to them. What are my expectations? Do I truly believe that they can achieve, or am I just saying it because it's just the right thing to say? And there are times when I tell God, God, is hard. It's hard to just believe for the best. It's like every day, no 2 days are the same.
Yeah.
And then I just go back to God, like it's hard. And like I said, have your own village. I cannot thank my family enough for standing by me. They cried with me. They held my hand and said, you know what, we are here with you.
Yeah.
And that also helps. And then I joined support group where there are times I know that the best person to talk to at that time was somebody who was right in my shoes.
Yeah.
Not even people themselves in my shoes, but in my shoes. Those who had gone ahead of me, those who were going alongside me. Don't say this and this and this is what I'm feeling. And then we feel bad together. We laugh together. And then we go back and say, okay, I'll try again.
Yeah.
I'll try again. So that's it. But if I could do it together, we also learn to relax some more. I'm not so hard on myself. I know just, it's just all about pointing and all that, but to cut yourself some slack.
Yeah.
Just know that you're doing your best and to give yourself a pat on the back. So that's it.
Wow, thank you so much for sharing that. And you're so right. You need to have your own village. It makes a big difference when you have that support network. And like you were saying, it's not necessarily, for some it will be blood relatives, for some it won't be your blood relatives, but you just need to identify the right people that will support you on this journey. And like you also said, people that have gone ahead and you have seen how the progress they've made, and how, your no two challenges are exactly the same, but there can be some similarities that are close enough for you to say, can you show me how you did that? Or when you were at this point, what steps did you take? So it's very, very important. And we like to, isolate ourselves sometimes and think, I can, I'll just moan and cry in my cupboard and that's it. But finding help and getting support makes a very, very big difference. So thank you so much for telling us that. So I want us to now talk. I know we've talked about challenges and we've talked about different things, that has changed in your life because of the challenges of your children. But what I also know is that there are lots of good things that happen when you have children with special needs. It's not all bad news. There are good things, there's progress. I don't know if there are things that you would like to share with us in terms of the progress or fun things or positive things that you have experienced on this journey.
Oh, many. I think for me, first of all, having a child who is different makes you a deeper person, a more insightful person. And if you allow it, it can make you more empathetic.
Yeah.
And more patient because try your patient to do oh my God. So you learn that. And about them, someone said, I'm autistic. I miss what you say, but you miss what I see. And so true, many things. My daughter will tell you all the buses in London, where they go, who the company that runs them.
Yeah.
You give her a date and she'll tell you the day of the week it is. If you say random one like 15th of December 1950, she'll tell you.
Wow.
What day it falls. She'll remember everybody's birthday. In fact, all our friends don't expect us to forget their birthday because they're like, I know your daughter told
me. Do you remember?
If we go to child, somebody is missing, she'll know. If somebody had a haircut, I mean, even with the Caucasians, that I won't probably even notice, she'll say, oh, you just had a haircut. And so that is so endearing. And for my son, when it comes to his piano and his love for music, it's just amazing, And their sense of innocence, their sense of just being sensitive. I know it's interesting when they say, oh, the people on the spectrum are not empathetic. I'm like, well, I don't know about that. Because they can sense your mood from miles away and just want to check that you are okay. And that for me is just amazing. It's just amazing how people want to believe the best of people and just want to reach out to others and just keep growing. I mean, my son speaks now. He has a functional language, responsive. And if you know from where we were coming, it was like, that was
yeah.
So that's it. And they are teenagers, you just also have to know the fact that any teenager will go through some stuff, but just them growing to be people who are well-rounded and teachable. It's just amazing to see. So I'll say to any parent, don't give up. Don't give up. It's a lot of work. I won't deny that. But it's not a cave. It's a tunnel. Cave means you are just stuck. Tunnel means, it might be dark now, but there can be light at the end. So that's. I mean, if I start speaking now, how my daughter wants to learn all the languages of the world. Where do they speak Arabic? Where do they speak Latin? Where did they and be telling me how some languages are similar and all that. And I don't have any flavor.
I know, yeah. Wow.
So it's like, okay. So just see it as a tunnel, not a cave.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you so much. Thank you for, what you've shared already is just, I'm sure everyone that is watching, they've been picking lots and lots of lessons, encouragement. And just to say, for those that are watching us, thank you for staying with us this long. I'm sure you've learned one or two things or even more from today's session. So my question is going to be, I know that something beautiful has come out from your journey. And I mean, one of the beautiful things, I know many beautiful things have come out, but one of the beautiful things that have come out from this journey that you've been on is your book. Yeah. You've written a book. So I'll let you share with us how did wow, I've got that book as well. So how did you get to the point of, writing a book, and how was that for you?
Okay. I think I did mention the fact that along the way I went back to school and studied health and social care.
Yeah.
And I have so many certification in creative education and all that. And when my son did his SATs and he passed, and it was like, did that really happen?
Wow.
Did it really get there? And then shortly after that, he did his grade 1 piano lesson. He passed, and like,
wow.
Am I, it's like, really? And I just wrote a piece at first, and it was just meant to be an article to just encourage parents to just, like I said, it's not a cave, it's a tunnel.
Yeah.
And each one of them, like, they wrote a rose to just keep discovering more and more about them. And I just wrote an article about it, and I sent it to a friend to read. She was like, this is really nice. And I sent it to a few people that are close to me. It was even, where do I put this article? I want it to encourage other parents. And we were just thinking, maybe we'll do Reader's Digest and all that. And then I sent it to someone, and she read it, and she called me the next day, said, I was crying. I was happy. I was crying. No, this has to be a book. And that's how I started.
Wow.
This has to be a book. So I said, I know someone who has written, said, it might be, I think we should include more things. And then someone said, let it be broken down into like different topics and all that. And when I thought I'd finished, I have a coach who is like a professor. He was like, yeah, what you wrote is nice, but I want you to include lesson learned. And then I had to go out. It was like writing another master's.
Wow.
Or maybe a PhD, because I had to do research, involve people who were psychiatrists, involve the dentists, involve, different professionals to just say, this is what I've written. Is it in line with the current practice and thinking, best standard? And that was how we got about it. And by the time I had finished, it was like, wow.
Wow.
I actually did that. It just became something that had to be completed. It was like, this will bless a lot of people. And for me, also about the fact, you said something a lot, just being in our closet and hiding. It's almost like when you are being told your child is different, the world expects you to just go into the cupboard and hide him. And it was like, why?
Yeah.
Why should we have to hide? What offense have you committed that you have not committed? Why should we live a life of stigma and even self-stigmatize?
Yeah.
So it was meant to be a beacon of hope for people who have children who are differently gifted. And also to raise an understanding of what it is. One of my friends said, oh, when she was watching something, she's read the book, she was saying, oh, it's because of this. The husband was like, how? Oh, I've read my friend's books now. I know. Like, okay. Okay. And the people I've read it have actually said it's not only for parents who have children on the spectrum, it's for every parent. In fact, I have an older auntie, she's in her 60s. She was like, I wish I had read this when I was children. Oh, okay. That for me is achieving its aim. Yeah. So that's it. It's called Sailing on a Rainbow.
Yeah.
And the title is about, the different emotions we go through, The days we feel blue, the days we feel red, like I just have to try and keep it together.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. And if anyone wants to buy your books, where can they get them? Where they're available now?
It's on Amazon. It's called Sailing on a Rainbow, A Colorful Journey with Autism. It's on Amazon.
I'll put a link to it in the description so that anybody that wants to buy can get it from Amazon. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for that. I knew when I was reading the book, I felt like somebody was writing about me to me. I was like, every part I'll read, I'll say, hey, yeah, and yeah, okay, yeah. And it's always nice when when you see that somebody else is experiencing things that you experience, it makes you feel like you're not on your own. Like, oh, okay, it's not just me then. So yeah, it's a really, really amazing book. I encourage everyone, please, whether you have a child with additional needs or not, it's a very, very empowering, informative. There's so much in that book. It's so small, but it's packed with so much. So please get yourself a copy. And you can also give it out as a gift as well. So yeah, get as many copies as possible. Thank you very much. We're gradually getting to the end of our session. My next question to you is about, you and I will understand that, when we've said this over and over again during this session, that as we're raising our children, our life gets put on hold and all of that. And one from having a chat with a number of parents recently, I find that one of the biggest challenges for parents is, our desire, our hope, our prayer is that one day our children will be independent. They won't rely on us as much as they did when they were younger and all of that. So we then get to a point when that begins to happen. And then the parent is left like, okay, so what do I do with myself? Who am I? For many people, you stop working, everything in your life just kind of takes the back burner while you're focusing on raising, your children. When you get to that point, when your children are now a lot more independent and they can do many more things by themselves, which is what you've been hoping and praying for, you're now left with, okay, I'm kind of empty. I don't know what to do with myself now. What would you advise? And I think the preparation should actually start way before this happens, so that when the time comes, you're ready to fly and do whatever else you can do. I mean, of course, our children will still need support, but probably not as much as before. And so we'll be able to do one or two things. Many people get stuck at that point. What would you advise?
Okay. I think, like I said before, you need a village around you. You need people who believe in you. You need people who are old enough and will not let you go. You as a person, not you as a mother.
Yeah.
Even you as a person who will remind you constantly of where you started from. Yeah. Because it's like when we are told about that diagnosis, our life just goes on pause, our own personal life. And then a new journey starts of being a mother, of being, a carer. And that's how you most identify yourself, But you need people who will remind you that, before them, there was this you who had goals, who had dreams.
Yeah.
And also to remind yourself that you are worth it. Because I think, like I said, bringing the biggest light upon ourselves and searching ourselves and thinking, oh, must be that I've done this or I've done that. That's what happened. And then in that space, we can lose all the goodness in ourselves. But to just also believe that you have the right to be,
Yeah.
that for you to be the best mom to them, physically, emotionally, mentally, you yourself have to be in a safe place and continue to dream. So you will not become resentful of your own children. So for me, it's about writing your dreams. For me, like I said, my own village won't even allow me to be like, sometimes even before I wrote this book, I remember one of my friends who had sent me a message. Oh, by now, we thought we will have read a lot of books from you. What is happening? And then your classmate thinking, oh, what is happening concerning your career? And at first, it could be very annoying because you are like, who told you I don't even want to
I
have
know.
what I'm dealing with and all that. But I think it's also having a perspective that, well, maybe it's also that you have something to offer the world.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why these people are there. And then to start building, because I know people also feel like, I can't allow having a child who learn differently to stop my career, and then the work that should have been done on that child was not done.
Yeah.
But you also don't want to leave that regret.
Yeah.
So put down your dreams. I know people say it a lot. I had to even be praying. I said, God, teach me to write more of my dreams. But sometimes you just get to a point like, what's the point of even writing all these dreams? When am I going to be able to achieve?
Yeah.
But just don't stop dreaming. And sometimes when opportunity comes, sometimes it might be even voluntary, or you might not be able to, in the beginning, do as much as you can do. But start taking baby steps to fulfill your own life too, And like you rightly said, the time may come. We pray that a time will come where you'll be able to do more, And sometimes it's even in our pain, we get a lot of gain. When you, by that lived experience, you can become an advocate.
Yeah.
You can write books, you can write articles, and start a support group, Find you in you. I know it just seems tautological, but it's not.
Yeah.
But sometimes lost in all the things, like when Nehemiah said something, he said, let's rebuild. And he said, there's so much rumble, there's so much that have broken down. And we can feel like that too.
Yeah.
All this dream and aspiration, they've broken down. Somewhere in there, they are still there.
Yeah.
Because the Bible says that the gift and calling of God are without repentance.
Yeah.
So it's finding that strength. Sometimes baby step, like I said, I went and worked as in the supporting parents, and then I started working in schools. These were not things that I thought I would do. It was just, oh my law, well, I want to practice international law, did my master qualification and all that. But that experience has been enriching. I'm back into a place where I can practice more of what I law now. And thank God for that flexibility where I'm able to work in the office and then sometime at home.
Yeah.
And it didn't seem like I was going to ever get back there.
Yeah, it does feel like that.
It didn't seem like that, But that's where I am now. And now I'm always saying, no, now I want to be a billionaire. I have to start dreaming big now. I want to be dreaming big of how to become
Amen to that.
But ask me a few years ago what my dream was just to get through the year.
Yeah.
That for me was it,
Yeah.
So you can dream again. Like I said, it's just taught me it's not a cave.
Mm.
It's not a cave, it's a tunnel.
It's a
Sometimes
tunnel.
yeah,
Mm.
it's dark. I mean, there are
Yeah,
times even when you think, oh, you've done it, then they become teenagers again, and it's like,
I
oh
know.
my God,
Another
I have
kettle
to
of
be.
fish.
You understand?
Oh dear.
Like, when do I start from again?
Ah,
So don't
mm.
stop dreaming. Don't stop
Yeah.
dreaming. Not only for yourself, as mothers, but even not only for like I mean not only for your children,
Mm.
even for yourself.
Self to. Mm.
Don't stop the
Yeah.
dream, please. Please. And I'll say this: our culture is very judgmental. We have to face that fact that
Mm.
culture is very judgmental and it can be shame based when
Yeah.
something is out of line in your life,
Yeah.
We are
Mm.
quick to say who sinned.
Mm. Yeah.
So it can be very isolating, but just
Mm.
know that there are people who are going through what you are going through.
Yeah.
And God is good to all of us. The Bible says it makes the rain to fall on the righteous and the unrighteous.
Mm.
So don't self-condemn. Don't start isolating, because that can lead to a lot of mental health issues. Because even in this space of raising a child with autism, psychiatrists, there are reports to show that is one of the things that can bring about mental breakdown, especially
Yeah. I
for
mean, that's
people.
not a surprise.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So
Yeah.
we have to not hide.
Mm.
Why are you hiding? Why should the world be expecting us to hide?
Yeah.
Why?
Mm. Mm. Yeah.
Oh, please come out, celebrate yourself.
Mm.
Celebrate the woman and the man, because I mean, it's not only the woman, even
Mm.
the fathers. It's not easy for
Yeah.
the fathers who have. For the fathers among them, amongst us, we celebrate them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, for my husband, I can tell him when my child is like this, and having that, we celebrate every carer,
Yeah.
every father, every mother, every one who have stood
Mm.
in this, and just know that it's yes, it's challenging,
Mm.
but it's gloriously challenging.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, wow. Thank you so much for that. Like, yeah, I mean, there's really nothing to add to that. You've just hit the nail on the head there. And yeah, there's so much to us as well. Yeah, as much as we are mothers or parents, we also have a lot that we also need to manifest. So let us allow ourselves to grow. Like you said, thank you so, so much. We're almost at the end. My I think this is the second to the last question, and this is about the community in general. So one of the biggest challenges for parents is not so much about the needs of the children, but what will people say? What will people do? People can't go out freely without thinking, the headache from trying to go out and interacting with people is so much more than the stress or the challenge that your child is going through. What would you say to the wider community, how they can support families, their friends, people around them that have children with any kind of neurodiverse needs?
Get informed.
Mm.
You don't want to be patronized.
Mm.
Just say, you are strong, go.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want to be patronized. We want
Mm.
people to come from the place of knowledge.
Yeah.
You know, it's not enough for people to be aware. It's to have an understanding of what it means. I mean, I remember someone was. I just kept and there's this serial on Netflix. Oh, go and watch the Good Doctor. The Good Doctor.
Mm.
So finally, I watched. I said, "Oh, okay. This is just using a part to
Mm.
represent the whole."
Mm.
So get informed and offer practical support.
Yeah.
You know, if a mother is struggling, don't just sit down there. Sometimes all you need to do is just to say, is there anything I can help
Yeah.
you? You know, there's this child in your child's class that everybody leaves out for parties.
Yeah.
Have you asked why? You know, these are practical things of just reaching out to the mothers. I know that I'll say that, it's interesting that even as Christians and in our culture, we have not really built capacity to support each other in the sense that other than praying. As in, so sometimes it's not that people are being mean, just that they don't know what to do.
They don't know. Yeah, that's so true.
They don't know
that's
what
so true. Yeah.
So it's just us reaching out and just knowing that sometimes all you can do is just to sit to the person and let the person know that I've got you.
I'm here, yeah.
I've got you. And if it's possible, if it's a child that you've known a while, just relieve the mother sometimes. Okay, I'll just watch over this child while I just have a bit of a rest.
Yeah.
These are things we need to do. You saw a child throwing tantrum and all that, you know the family, and then sometimes you can call them at home and say, I saw the struggle you went through. Are you okay now? Are you okay? Because nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's just that caring. That Christian walk. I mean, it was when I went to Nigeria, GTB invited me last year to speak at their conference. I was on the forum, and I met somebody there who had cerebral palsy. I mean, apart from seeing them from afar, I didn't know what it was over. But I met this extremely intelligent girl she has a foundation. And I'm like, wow, thank you for opening my eyes to this.
Yeah.
Let's be curious about our world, not in sense of condemnation, but in sense of wonder.
Yeah.
Of what difference we can make, practical difference that we can make. So when we say, let's pray, like, I know you heard you first talk, the blind law paid the older when he was saying that when they prayed for him and he didn't start seeing, they made him feel like he didn't have faith.
Yeah.
That almost made him live his own Christianity, his own personal work with God, because he's like, if he doesn't have faith, then how can he be calling himself?
What's the point? Yeah.
So, and the BBC did a documentary where people with different disability came up. They were Christian. I say, you are taught to believe for faith, but when it doesn't happen, it's just like you are dropped. And I'm a Christian leader, so I know that all of us have to walk in that area of saying, you know what? It makes things beautiful, in his own time, not our own time. So the fact that it didn't happen now doesn't mean it's not going to happen. Look at when they promised Abraham a son, and look at how long it took before it happened.
Yeah.
So in that waiting time, let's be there to support one another.
Yeah.
Let's be there. We all need it. We all need to build inner capacity. To be able to stand with one another and just say, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you. And not be quick to judge. But I know that sometimes it's also, you are like children of Israel when the bread from heaven was falling and you say, what's this manna? When the things we don't really understand, we are quick to stigmatize. Sometimes to help us to deal with it. But I think sometimes we need to be more open-minded. Like, that might not be my own reality, but how can I help?
Yeah.
So I think that's it. Knowledge, willingness to help.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Thank you so much. And I think for us parents as well, we should accept the help, because sometimes I think we're so consumed with the fact that we think everyone is judgmental. So anybody that tries to help, we think, just leave me. So we should also accept the help, because we do really need the help. We really need the support. That will go a long way. Thank you so, so much. Finally, if anyone wants to reach out to you, contact you, discuss with you on any level, what's the best way to reach you?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, but I'm not very active. I'm there. I
Yeah,
have an email address. I'll send it to you.
yeah, I'll put that in the comments. Yeah.
Yeah, it's at the back of my book.
Okay, all right.
So, they can reach out to me there, like I
Yeah,
like juggling being a mom and now
yes,
going back into my own profession and all that. But
yes, yeah.
I'm always willing to give my own 2 cents,
Mm.
if you get what I mean. Like I
Yeah.
said, and you rightly said it, we don't like to. I don't know if it's that we've now become defensive in the sense,
Yes.
if somebody
Yeah,
wants to say that, you're already like your antenna, but we have to accept support.
we do.
Because we need to be healthy for our kids.
Mm.
We need to be mentally sound for our kids. Let's take support. I think it's time we stop shaming ourselves.
Mm.
No, none of us are producers of children. We are all
Mm.
receivers.
Yeah.
We all got what we were given. None of us made the child we have. So I think we have to develop that mindset. So there's no need to be defensive,
Mm.
because they also don't have the right to be offensive,
Mm.
because
Yeah.
like I was listening to a video of masking.
Mm.
It was done by adults that are on the spectrum.
Yeah.
And they said it's like that the neurotypical we see ourselves as the gold standard human.
Mm. Mm.
Basically judge them.
Isn't it
And
true?
the truth
Mm.
is, we don't even want to see them, because it's
Yeah.
constantly, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. But like I said, as a parent, just do the best you can, but
Yeah.
don't come from self-condemnation.
Mm.
And coming back to your question, if you reach out to me, I'll tell you what I know. And if I can't help, and over the years, I've been able to build a support group, I'll be
Yeah.
supposed to
Mm.
people I think might be able
Yeah.
to help you.
Mm.
People like Folake.
Mm.
Yes. Over the years, we thank God for how you've been giving voice to the voiceless. So well done. We appreciate you and we say
Thank you. Thank you, and to you as well. Thank you so, so much. I mean, I know there's so much more that, like, what we discussed is a fraction of the whole story. And I know that we will have opportunity to talk a little bit more in the future. But I just want to say a big thank you for sparing the time, for sharing your journey. It's not easy to share your personal journey, especially when it's regarding, challenges and struggles. But thank you so much for sharing what it's been like for you and where you are now. And we know that it can only get better. So we just, on behalf of Moriah Family Support Group, want to say a big thank you to you, Adesola, for coming on the show today. We really, really appreciate what you have shared with us. And I have learned so much. I know that everyone that is watching, they would have picked a lot and lot of things, and it will help all of us as we go along in this journey. Also, thank you to everyone that is watching. Thank you for staying with us till the end. If you have any comments, any questions, please use the chat box and we will get back to you. I will forward any questions you have to Adesola, and I'm sure she'll be more than happy to answer any questions or anything that you need from her. This is now the end of the session today. I look forward to having you all next time when we are on Journeys with Moriah. But for now, it's goodbye from me. Thank you very much. Bye, everyone. Bye.
bye. Bye.